Good morning. We are at VIV Select and we are at a stall which needs no introduction. We are at JBT Marel and with us we have Mr. Lambert Rutten, who is the sales manager for poultry EMEA for JBT Marel. Hi, Lambert. How is India?
Very nice. I'm very impressed every time when I come here.
Great. So, Lambert, can you please tell us how do you see the development of India's food processing market? And has the poultry segment expanded with inclination to Gen Z towards the protein-rich foods?
Yeah, I think in general, if you look to the market compared to several other markets, India has still the challenge of partly the wet market and moving towards industrialized or highly industrialized chains. If you were referring to the Gen Z market, or let's say customer, I would bring it bigger than only Gen Z. If you look to poultry, more and more people in India, also the people in mid-40s, they have their families, they work together. People live in very high-end apartments. How do you get this live bird, this wet market, like we say it? How do you get it there? So it is not just about a new generation that picks up new trends. It is more that the whole, let's say, the commercial life is changing very rapidly, especially in the urban situations. So I would not only restrict it to Gen Z, but let's say to a huge part of the population, especially in urban areas.
So how is JBT Marel supporting the modernization of poultry processing plants through its advanced solutions?
Well, if you look in general, we are at the top of development of, let's say, of new equipment, new processes. If you look to hygiene, sustainability, reduction of labor, those kind of developments that we are very highly in that. And if you look to India, yeah, we are strongly introducing ourselves, and the market is picking up very strongly on our introduction into this Indian market.
So, key poultry processing solutions that you are offering to the Indian market?
Well, I would say from beginning to end, from picking up the live bird in the farm, with automated systems, reducing labor, improving animal welfare, improving damages, transport costs, up to the final product being, let's say, the nuggets for the consumer at the table. So the whole process in between, that is where we fully act in.
Okay. Any special packaging part you want to let us know about?
Well, at this moment, and I will also present that in the conference, we have several new equipment, especially at the primary processing side. That's where the core of the Indian processing plants are active in. So really to go to advanced capacities, advanced ways of hygiene, control, those kind of elements that we are bringing into the market now.
So how do you see the company's equipment and integrated systems help poultry, specifically the processors, improve their efficiency and yield?
Yeah, if you look to a processing plant, it's like a kind of an engine, and that engine has to run as optimal as possible, and it has to run very fast, very efficient, because margins per kilo of poultry meat are small. So you have to make it in volume, you have to make it in quality, you have to make it in efficiency and in cost per kilo. So that's where we are focusing on together with the customer, let's say the processor being our customer, to make that as optimal as possible, yes.
So in what ways are JBT Marel processing technologies contributing to the improved hygiene, specifically safety, number two, and the compliance with global standards? How you are helping your customers on these 3 points?
Yeah, let's say we are at the top of our business worldwide. So we are, I would say we are the first to reach any global standard necessary in our equipment. So it comes to, indeed, it comes to hygiene, it comes to the sustainability part, for example, water, energy consumptions. Hygiene is a very fundamental one. And of course, it depends a lot on which country you are. There are some countries with a very extreme demands on hygiene. We have to be able to comply with those. And we very often even set the standards for new in our developments for new equipment and parts of the process. So I think what that's concerned, we have the full knowledge and experience worldwide to support India with that.
Great. So how does JBT Marel incorporate digitization, data analytics and automation, automation to be precise, for the poultry processing industry?
Yeah, I would say completely as the simplest answer. At this moment, you can say from the start of picking up the broiler in the farm up to delivering the product on a tray towards the consumer, towards the warehouse, we can digitalize everything. We can know not only the truck, but the transport unit on the truck, where the birds is, so we can connect the farm up to the consumer with its full process control. Provided, of course, you have all the steps in your processing plant that are able to pick up that information and transfer that to the next stage. And that's where we definitely, let's say, we are at the forefront of those developments.
Great. Currently, the recent trends are saying that, including India, all the companies want to be sustainable, right? In terms of carbon emissions, how is JBT Marel helping its customers achieving that sustainability through their machines?
Yeah, so especially if you look to our process, water consumption, energy consumption is not that extreme as you do not include as long as you do not include the refrigeration, the cooling part of it. But that's mainly for the refrigeration companies to act at. For us, I would say mainly it's water consumption. And yeah, there it's a matter of, there is always the tension between water consumption for hygiene and the water consumption of the capacity of the well, let's say, and the availability in the environment where the processing plant is in. Now, it's one of our focuses to work on that as much as we can, not simply reducing, but optimizing, because there will always be a balance.
So, Lambert, can you please tell us how you are supporting your customers, specifically JBT Marel in India, through customization? I mean, are you also customizing your products according to the customer needs?
Yes, I would say worldwide, that's what we do. I've been living for 15 years in South America and Brazil, and with the same equipment, let's say you have a worldwide standard in our equipment and our development, but you always customize to the specific needs of a certain customer. That doesn't mean that all of a sudden you have to turn the machine upside down or the process upside down, but there are always specific needs, whether it be specific products as a broiler coming in, whether it be the specific products to go towards the consumer. So there you adapt towards the process that is specifically for the country, and in this case India, upon the demand of and the reality of the market.
So finally, I mean, what all support and innovations, support you have already told, so let me reframe that. What all innovations currently is being undertaken by JBT Marel for its products? What new can we expect from you?
Yeah, I would say at this moment, and very specifically very interesting for India, is our developments in evisceration. So that's where, let's say, it's the core of the business, and it's the core of this motor I talked a bit earlier on. So you want to have it as efficient as possible, as hygienic as possible, with the highest speed and the most optimal way of working. There we are in this core of the total process. That's why we at this moment have introduced several new processes, new machines that are definitely also for India. Really will be, let's say, complete new way of looking to the reality of processing in a modern way.
Great. It was lovely speaking to you, and I can see a lot of customers waiting for you. I'll not take much of your time.
Thank you
so
very much.
I wish you all the very best.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much.